What's your, oh, and it gets better, story? Someone broke into my car one day. They took all the stuff in my console and glove compartment and threw it around my car. I found a note that said, "Try harder next time, Daniel." My name is not Daniel. That reminds me of a story I remember hearing where a guy came home to his apartment burglarized and all his belongings were tossed about. He realized nothing was stolen and there was a note left on the table that read, "You ain't get no shit worth stealing." I won second place in a writing competition. 2 people entered. I won third place at my town once. We were only 2 competitors. The other 2 places went to my big sister, grinning, squinting face. She had actually entered 3 short stories. So I guess they took pity on me or something. I was a kid and my story was definitely shit. Hers were amazing. Went to a strip club with a friend and passed out in the back rooms. Woke up to a stripper saying I owed her $300. Wallet was empty. Cops are called to address the situation. I show cop my online bank info showing a $500 ATM withdrawal at said strip club. Told cop that either the stripper stole my money while I was passed out, or the bar served me $500 worth of drinks. Cop doesn't think the stripper has a reason to lie. I get arrested and put in the drunk tank. 6 sleepless hours later I get released. Just as I'm leaving the cop shop my phone rings. My boss is wondering where I am. Tell him I spent the night in the drunk tank. He says stay right there, he'll pick you up. Ended up working a 12-hour day as a flat roofer. This just got worse and worse. At the time, yes, but as far as a story goes it's one of my favorites. I like to refer to this as simply, the day from high school. During one of the lunch periods, some guys who had issues with each other started brawling in the cafeteria. The lunch monitors and on-duty cop for the high school weren't able to stop him as it was 5 or 6 rather large dudes. So reinforcements get called and 4 or 5 squad cars whip into the parking lot and the cops run into the school. They get into the cafeteria and start breaking up the fight that 1/3 road of the school is watching. At this point, one of the guys breaks free from the cops' hold after only getting one wrist cuffed and started sprinting away. The cop realized he wasn't going to catch up, so he shot and hit the kid with a taser. The kid dropped immediately. While that was going on, a kid decided that during that lunch period would be the perfect time to smoke in one of the bathrooms a bit away from the cafeteria. This wouldn't have been much of an issue if he would have been smoking tobacco. But homeboy was on that wacky tobacco. So what else is a high teen supposed to think when they hear squad car sirens whipping into the parking lot other than, oh shit, they're gonna get me? So he needs to get rid of the evidence. Unfortunately, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the crayon box. So instead of flushing it or washing it down the sink, he throws his lit joint into the garbage can, which, at this point in the day, is full of now dried paper towel that all catches fire. The kid freaks out and kicks the trash can over, sending flaming paper towel everywhere, setting the bathroom on fire, and books it. As far as I know, no one ever was able to figure out who decided to get the bathroom blazed with high monsieur. While that was going on, a math class was winding down and people were working on their homework before they got to go to their lunch period. A girl calmly raised her hand. The teacher asked her what her question is and she said, I think my water just broke. The teacher bolted into action, called the office and said they need an ambulance stat as he has a student going into labor. He, being a father himself and having gone through this process with his wife, began leading the girl in breathing exercises until 2 paramedics showed up to the room. They came in, got on each side of the girl, put their arms under hers, and lifted her completely off the ground before moving as quickly and safely as they could out of the room. I do believe she was able to make it to the hospital to deliver a healthy baby. All of this happened between 11:40 and 12:10 p. Everyone knew about all the separate events by the end of the day. This was a wild ride. My manager decides to start a project management trainee program. He hires his wife under her maiden name into the program. He then hires his mistress into the program. He gets invited to go on a corporate award trip where he gets to bring a guest and takes the mistress, not his wife. None of them worked there shortly after that. That guy is a fool on so many levels. Yeah, but he's on one hell of an adventure. Okay, so like a year and a half ago, I had a Marvel movie marathon at my friend's house. We stood up until like 7 a.m. watching Marvel movies, eating nothing but Oreos and drinking Coca-Cola throughout this time period. I haven't got into the bathroom once. So after we finished one of the movies, I went to the bathroom. And this is where hell breaks loose. My stomach was hurting from eating only Oreos and soda. So I had to ** it pretty badly, and so I did and felt relieved. For like 5 seconds I flush the toilet and it's not going down. And I kinda begin panicking and start flushing the handle several times. Then at that perfect moment, the water starts to rise and overflow. Shit, still not flushed. I tried using the plunger, but that shit wasn't working out for me since it was already overflowing. I start crying and my friend can hear me and comes in. She's a saint, so she like calms me down and calls for her mom. It takes her mom an entire hour to fix the toilet and clean up my friend, and I look back and laugh now, but at the time I wanted to flush myself down that toilet. What a praise. I went to a friend's birthday party in 5th grade once. We all got into a limo with a bunch of the kids' moms, including the birthday girls. I'll call her Gina, mother. We were having a great time and the moms all decide they were gonna go to the bar and leave all us 5th graders in the limo. Things went fine until we went back to Gina's home. We got there, and our friend Jennifer said she had a stomach ache. Jennifer had a lot of health problems, so we weren't surprised. Jennifer asked Gina's mother to call her family to leave. Gina's mother then practically cornered Jennifer and started yelling about how disrespectful she was. The other moms stepped in and told her to stop. And Gina's mom then turned around and said that everyone had to leave and that the party was over. We all left, and I called my mom to pick me and Jennifer up. Gina came outside and said that her mom had passed out in bed, assumingly drunk, and then brought the cake down so we could eat it on the sidewalk with our hands. TLDR, birthday party gone wrong. Birthday girl's mom got drunk, yelled at our friend, then kicked everyone out. Poor birthday girl. When I was a freshman in high school, I had a senior boyfriend. He wanted to do some stuff I was uncomfortable with, having only dated for about 2 weeks. He cheated on me. He gave himself and both side chicks chlamydia. Edit. One of the girls he cheated on me with also made fun of me after the news of my assault came out, saying, "I wanted it." I'm not usually a huge believer in karma, but damn, that felt good. Edit 2. This girl also got detention for screaming at me in front of the class after I said, "Okay, STDVA," to her for bitching about me while I sat next to her. I know it sounds fake as hell, but people started laughing after she left. Okay, STDVA, I'm dead face with tears of joy. TL. Doctor passed over a seniority-based promotion 3 times, essentially because they needed it more. Started working swing shift for a company. I wanted to work mornings, but I took the job because the pay was good and you could get a position on the morning crew whenever someone leaves. Work there for 2 years and climb my way up the list of seniority. I get word that there is an opening on the morning shift. A few days later, one of our drivers loses his license, so they move him into the open morning position since he can't drive. I would have fired him, but it's whatever. A few months later, another position opens up shortly after. A co-worker below my seniority has a nervous breakdown. So to reduce their stress, they moved them to the vacant position in the morning. Shortly after that, another co-worker below my seniority goes to the manager and basically says if he doesn't get a morning position, he's going to quit. Manager gives him a position that wasn't supposed to be open for several more months. The time my friend and I we made it out unharmed and with £30 robbed from us. Cool story to tell, but it gets better. We have been trying to catch these guys for a few months now and now have their Snapchats and even have one of their real names. How did you find them? I had a doctor's appointment after work, so I needed to be in at 7 to get off in time. My alarm wasn't set. I woke up at 6:50 naturally and got dressed as fast as possible. Got there at 7:20. And the way it works at my job, I would have to take a 45-minute lunch instead of an hour since I was working less than 8 hours. Okay, I'd had my sister's spare key in my purse from borrowing her car. I told her previously that I'd hold on to it for a rainy day. She texts me that day an hour into work saying that she locked her keys in her car and needs her spare. She only lived 10 minutes away. I'll just have a 15-minute lunch. Fucking. As I'm driving down the interstate, a car tailgates me, so I get in the lane over to let him by. Just barely avoided hitting a guy in the next lane who was in my blind spot. I get to the house and get the key to my sister. Tell her what a shitty day I've had thus far and barely avoided crying. She tells me that my day will get better and thanks me for bringing the key. I get back to work to go park in the garage and there is no parking. At this point I call my coworker and start sobbing as I explain my day so far as I am unsuccessfully going up and down the parking garage searching for a spot. I end up having to park in bumfuck Egypt. I talked to my boss. I figured shit out and got into a better mood, and despite only having a 15-minute lunch I calmed down and was in much better spirits. Then, my dad messages a family group chat informing us that our stepmom, who was diagnosed with cancer 2 months before and had been in the ICU ever since, was going into hospice. We found out later that day she was going to be taken off the ventilator and wasn't expected to survive much longer after that. She passed away the next day. TLDR, I had a day filled with minor inconveniences that ended with news that my stepmom was going to die.